Tonight, Algoma Public Health is reporting the region's 7th COVID-19 related death.
News at Night with Colette Linden.
Good evening. Welcome to News at Night. I'm Colette Linden. Algoma Public Health is reporting the region's 7th death related to COVID-19 today. Out of respect for the family, no further information is being shared. This tragic loss highlights the seriousness of the virus. APH commends all of those who have worked to prevent COVID-19 spread in the community. They are asking Algoma residents to continue doing their part to protect the community, including getting fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Ontario is reporting 1,145 new cases of COVID-19 and 5 new deaths over the last 2 days. The province logged 564 new infections today. 434 of those people are those who are not fully vaccinated or whose vaccination status is unknown. Provincial data shows there were 581 new cases on Sunday, including 457 in people who have not received 2 doses of the vaccine or whose vaccination status is again unknown. There were also 2 deaths related to the virus on Sunday. Health Minister Christine Elliott says nearly 84% of Ontarians 12 years or older have received 1 dose of a COVID-19 shot, and slightly more than 77% have received 2. The province says 295 COVID-19 patients are in hospital, 192 are in intensive care due to the virus. It notes, however, that not all hospitals report on weekends and holidays. According to Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Theresa Tam, the latest figures show an immediate acceleration in vaccine uptake for people 18 to 39 is needed. Tam says slowing vaccination rates and early reopenings across the country has set the stage for a major resurgence. Tam added hospital capacity could be exceeded by the Delta-driven resurgence if Canadians are not able to get COVID-19 back on track. Tam warns that we could see numbers we have never seen yet in this health crisis. Modeling shows Canada could see more than 15,000 new cases each day by the beginning of October 2021 if the rate of transmission remains as is. However, she notes there's still time to change course. Canada's top doctor says 12.5 million Canadians need better protection, including people who have not received a shot yet, those who are waiting for a second, as well as children too young to get one, and many others. The latest data shows that since the last federal modeling update, hospitalizations across our country have more than doubled. Daily infections have also surged, and to date, more than 53 million doses of vaccines have been administered in Canada since December of last year. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau gave the thumbs up to protesters gesturing obscenities as he left a campaign stop during the Canadian federal election in Brantford, saying he is inspired by frontline workers facing harassment on the job. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau said today that he won't let the mob control his campaign after he was sprayed with gravel during a ruckus protest in London. Several protests were staged outside hospitals, police headquarters, and other busy areas across Ontario last week in response to Premier Doug Ford's announcement of the province's COVID-19 vaccine passport plan on Wednesday. Vietnam jailed a man on Monday for 5 years for breaking strict COVID-19 quarantine rules and spreading the virus to others, state media reported. Le Van Trai, 28 years of age, was convicted of spreading the dangerous infectious disease at a 1-day trial at the People's Court of the Southern Province, Cà Mau, the state-run Vietnamese news agency reported. Vietnam has been one of the world's coronavirus success stories thanks to targeted mass testing, aggressive contact tracing, tight border restrictions, and strict quarantine. However, new clusters of infections since late April have tarnished that record. Vietnam's southernmost province has reported only 191 cases with 2 deaths since the pandemic began, much lower than the nearly 260,000 cases and 11,000 deaths in the country's coronavirus epicenter. Vietnam is battling a worsening COVID-19 outbreak that has infected more than 536,000 people, killing 13,385. The country has sentenced 2 other people to 18 months and 2 years suspended jail terms on the same charges. Canadians can expect information within days on how the federal government intends to reopen the Canadian border to international travel. The federal government has added fully vaccinated foreign nationals to the ranks of travelers who are once again welcome on Canadian soil. As of midnight last night, quarantine requirements were eased for non-essential international travelers who have had a full course of a Health Canada approved COVID-19 vaccine. To be eligible, travelers must have allowed at least 14 days to pass since their last vaccine shot and show proof of a negative molecular test for COVID-19 that's no more than 72 hours old. They are also required to use the ArriveCan app or online web portal to upload their vaccination details. Dennis Vinay, Vice President of the Travelers Branch of the Canada Border Services Agency, says the latest wave of vaccinated visitors is arriving primarily by air. Vinay says that simplifies matters for the agency since airlines will be screening travelers to ensure they meet the criteria.
Jacob Moore here with your sports. We had the Labor Day Classics, which was early this year in the CFL, only in week 5. I'll have a recap on everything that happened there, but first, we gotta head over to the weather and see what your next 7 days looks like.
On TV News, supported by the Canadian Bush Plain Heritage Centre, where adventure takes off. On TV News, supported by Gary Chervinsky, Exit Realty, Lake Superior. Buying a home is a big decision, so is choosing the right agent. Call Gary Chervinsky, broker at Exit Realty, Lake Superior, 705-257-5432.
On TV News, supported by Maker North, 3D printing, laser cutting, 3D design, education, prototyping, and more. Maker North, whatever it takes.
The Sioux Greyhounds were back in action over the weekend, and we had 2 games to go over. The first game was the red and white game. This game was a tightly contested game from all 3 periods. The red team were able to storm back, pushing the game to a shootout, but it just wasn't enough as the white team was able to take that victory 10-9. The next game was their first exhibition game playing another team. The Sioux Greyhounds were against the Sudbury Wolves. This game looked good for the Greyhounds at first, midway through the 3rd period, being up 4-3. Unfortunately though, they could not hang on to the lead, losing the game 8-4. The Greyhounds will have plenty of time, however, to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they need to do, as they don't play the Wolves again until the 25th for their second exhibition game. Well, we had week 5 of the Canadian Football League, which was the Labor Day Classics, and they did not disappoint. For our recap, we had the Alouettes take down the Red Blacks 51-29. The Blue Bombers surprised the CFL and were able to defeat the Rough Riders, so the Rough Riders are no longer undefeated, winning that game 23-8. The Hamilton Tiger Cats completely humiliated the Toronto Argos, crushing them 32-19. And last but not least, the Edmonton Elks were able to stop the Stampeders defense, winning that game 32-20. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins have one thing in common, and it's not a first-round berth into the playoffs. Both of these teams are looking to improve their defense, and they think PK Subban might be the answer. PK Subban has really struggled since he's moved on to the New Jersey Devils, and a change of scenery might just be what he needs. The only hiccup is the salary. Subban has a $9 million salary cap hit, which neither team has room for. The Athletic is reporting that the Devils are willing to take up to half of his salary, meaning that his salary cap hit will be down to $4.5 million. Both the Bruins and the Leafs seem interested, but we'll have to wait and see if a deal gets done. Last week, the Toronto Blue Jay fans were ready to throw in the white towel and give up on their playoff hopes. After this weekend, things completely changed. The Jays are now currently on a 5-game winning streak, including sweeping the Oakland A's and beating the New York Yankees. Both of these teams, the Jays were chasing for the AL wildcard position. Now the Jays have jumped over the Oakland A's, have jumped over to Seattle, and are now sitting third in that race. The top two teams in the AL wildcard will make it into the playoffs to have a chance to play one game to get into the actual playoffs. Going into that weekend, the Toronto Blue Jays were 4.5 games behind the Red Sox for second. Now the Jays are just 3. The Toronto Blue Jays have another very important game tonight, however, at 7:07 p.m. as they battle the Yankees. The Yankees are currently sitting first in the AL wildcard race. The Jays are hoping that if they can get these wins and continue to string together a streak, they might be able to squeeze into the playoffs. The National Women's Hockey League has decided to go in a completely different direction and change their name. This league has been a pioneer in women's hockey, as it is the first women's hockey league to pay their players a competitive salary. The league will now be titled the Premier Hockey Federation. Ownership feels this change was needed, as the league has changed so much since 2016. The league has become more and more competitive, and they want the name to show Premier, as in the best hockey you're going to find. TSN is reporting that the Toronto Raptors might be out of the Ben Simmons race. Ben Simmons, who is currently with the Philadelphia 76ers, has been shopped, and the Phillies are looking to trade him. The Raptors were thinking this might be a great way to fix their rebounding issues, as they were rebounded in over 80% of their games last season. Unfortunately for the Raps, the 76ers don't seem interested in anything the Raptors are selling. This means the Toronto Raptors are going to need to find another solution to their major problem. The Jays are waiting along now to see if they can find that solution, or if they need to stick with the roster they have going into this season. Well, that's it for sports, but always keep it locked to On TV and Soo Online. We always got you covered. But we also have news covered. Colette's got the rest of your newscast right after this break.
On TV News, supported by Tenaris Algoma Tubes. Kickstart your career. Tenaris is rapidly growing in Sault Ste. Marie and looking for individuals interested in rewarding production and technician roles. If you are ready for a progressive career opportunity with benefits in advanced manufacturing, then please send your resume to resumes@tenaris.com.
On TV News, supported by The Refinery, the leader in women's fitness and transformations. 624 Wellington Street West in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Call 705-255-8895 for more information.
Family owned and operated, A.G. Quinnell Well Drilling has been serving Sault Ste. Marie and surrounding areas since 1968. For a free estimate, call 705-779-3909. A.G. Quinnell Well Drilling, available for all your water needs. 1944, 2nd Line West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A.G. Quinnell Well Drilling. Call 705-779-3909 for a free estimate today.
After hearing that Niagara Falls had 105 overdose-related calls this past month, Soo Online reached out to Mike Nadeau, who is the CEO of DSSAB, for the numbers in Sault Ste. Marie. Nadeau said that 75 calls for such service occurred in July of 2020, and to date, we have 77 for 2021. These include suspected opioid-related, non-opioid-related, as well as alcohol-related calls. If you or someone you know is suffering from addictions, you are encouraged to reach out to any of the resources available to you throughout the organizations in the city. A combination of factors has caused the District of Sault Ste. Marie Social Services Administration Board Paramedic Division to be strained over the past 18 months. On Saturday, one man was seriously shaken up and 2 vehicles destroyed after a collision occurred on McNabb Street. According to witnesses, a black SUV came off Bryan Avenue without stopping and T-boned a red van. The van came to rest in a bush, just missing a hydro pole. Multiple people have confirmed to Soo Online that the occupants of the SUV took off north from the collision. They identified them as 1 male, 1 female, and 1 child. No one who remained on scene was seriously injured. Police have multiple units in the area and traffic was slow. Shortly after 2:00 p.m. Saturday afternoon, emergency services responded to a collision near the corner of Great Northern Road and 2nd Line East. According to an individual with ties to the collision, the southbound gold car lost control and collided with the black vehicle waiting to turn left onto Great Northern Road. 1 occupant of the black vehicle was taken to hospital. Emergency services remained on the scene for nearly 1 hour to deal with this incident. On September the 3rd, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, while patrolling laneways in the downtown area, officers with the Bicycle Patrol Unit came across a man who was unresponsive and showing signs of an opioid overdose. Officers immediately administered naloxone and began performing CPR. Officers performed CPR for several minutes before the man started to respond positively to the life-saving measures and regain consciousness. EMS arrived a short time later and the man was transported to hospital for further treatment. The man is expected to recover. Chief Hugh Stevenson said that the immediate response of the officers saved that life, and that Chief Stevenson said he is proud of their professionalism and critical thinking during a time of crisis. To learn more about how to get help for addiction, how to dispose of found needles or sharps or naloxone kits, please visit APH website. Police have cancelled an Amber Alert after a young girl was last seen in Barrie was found safe. Ontario Provincial Police issued this Amber Alert just before 1:45 in the morning Tuesday for a 3-year-old girl who was last seen in Barrie Monday afternoon. Police said in a tweet Tuesday morning they had located the little girl safe and sound and were making arrangements to return her to Barrie. Online and on TV will broadcast the first debate for the upcoming federal election. All local candidates have agreed to participate in the live 90-minute debate scheduled for tomorrow, September the 8th at 1 o'clock p.m. The event will be live streamed via Facebook and ontv.ca. Local candidates include incumbent MP Liberal Terry Sheehan, for the Conservatives Sunny Spina, the NDP party Marie Morin-Strom, and the People's Party of Canada Casper Makowski. As part of the format for the show, we are inviting viewers to submit their questions to us and/or send a video asking your question. You can send your submissions to ontvfirstlocal@gmail.com. Both written questions and video questions will be accepted. Viewers can ask a general question or direct their query specifically to one of the candidates. We will accommodate as many of your questions as time allows. The 2021 debate will air live again tomorrow, September the 8th at 1, to be repeated at 7 p.m. later in the evening. Viewers can also watch repeats on Saturday and Sunday, September 11th and 12th at noon. That's your On TV news for Tuesday, September the 7th. On behalf of Craig Huckerby and Jacob Moore, have a great evening.